Hello, dear students. Myself, Dr. Pankaj Kapupra, Professor, School of Pharmacy, RK University, Rajkot. I'm going to discuss about the introduction to the drug design and discovery. As in the medicinal chemistry, you learn various chapters regarding the structures of the drug, the synthesis, the physicochemical property, the mechanism of action, and so many things for the particular drugs that's available into the market. But as the society require newer and newer drugs, there are many reasons because of so many drugs producing the resistance a certain period of time. Newer diseases were developed, and some drugs currently working well, but period of time the side effect, toxic effect is too much higher. So as to patient safety and efficacy, the pharmaceutical industry needed newer and newer drugs. So this chapter is help you to what are the different approaches towards the drug design, how the actual path of the drug design, what is the path of research in the drug design, how to discover the drug, everything that we are going to discuss in this chapter. First, what is a drug design? As the name design means the before making something you have to make the sketch, that is called as a design. Here for the drug design, before going to synthesize of a large numbers of molecules, first predict their biological activity. Means designing of molecules, designing of organic, inorganic, or the substance, potential substance in such a way that the molecules having a some good biological activity. That is an integrated developing discipline which portend the era of tailored drug. Means whatever types of drug is required, that type of group is to be introduced and then make a drug. It studied the process by which drug producing the effect, how they are react to with protoplasm to elect a particular pharmacological effect. The designing of particular drug, it is depend on the pharmacological activity. Which pharmacological activity is required, based on that the designing is there. So before going to various approaches, first we are going to discuss about the current scenario as drug discovery development timeline. See, here there is a drug discovery, preclinical, clinical trials, and FDA review. There are 4 or 5 different types. In first drug discovery, the initial chemist has to be prepare around 10,000 molecules. Here for the example, we are taking as a 10,000 compounds. Means suppose you have to make one compound. You have done many synthesis in your laboratory. There are 4 or 5 steps to prepare any drug. Suppose drug substance is very small, then and then you require 4 or 5 chemical step, 4 or 5 chemical reaction step. So each step having a time consuming, probably on an average, one scientist make one molecules in a week. So you can consider that suppose you have to prepare 10,000 molecules, that require too much time. Also there are needed supports of many scientists and many more money. Upon that, once chemicals are synthesized, then it to be having a preclinical study that you perform very well experiment in the animal models, that to check whether the particular substance in vivo and in vitro give the pharmacological action or not. If it is give the pharmacological action, then again need to check the toxicity study or the higher dose study, like this. In that, suppose some substance give the positive results, approximately 5 compound reach to the clinical trial. In the clinical trial, you know very well there are 4 stages where humans are involved. Humans are involved, there need more money. So that is very costly step. It's clinical trial. Also needed various hurdles in the performing the clinical trials. Upon that, some positive results observed in the phase 3, then the molecules is reached to phase 4 and market. And if they completely fulfill the phase 4, then drug reach to the market. So this entire pathway need is 6.5 year, 7 year approximately. That is average time. Is not fixed for the particular drug. 1.5, that is around 15 year. And can you predict the cost? How much cost is required to uh, the completion of one drug to the market? That is too high. Is about the $800 million. $800 million is average cost to reach drug into the market. What happened in this scenario? Research-based pharmaceutical company on average spend about 20% of their sales on research and development. The percentage, 20%, is significantly higher than most of the other industry, including electronics, aerospace, automobiles, and computer. The pharmaceutical industry spending the 20 percentage of their sales into the research and development. So there is a one concrete research is going on to developing a newer drugs as compared to other things like automobiles, aerospace, electronic. See, if you compare before 10 year, which types of mobile that have, and right now which configuration of mobiles are available. Same thing for automobiles, same thing for computer, same thing for other luxurious item, and same thing for other pharmaceutical of other other types of the industries. But in pharmaceutical industry, the development is too much restricted. There are various reasons, and that is called as the innovation deficits. Innovation deficit means the the pharmaceutical company is spending too much money about this but not get the output like this. That is called as the innovation deficit. Why innovation deficit? Like this, 70 in 17 era, there are 100 molecules. 70 to 100 molecules was developed in the 1960 to 1970. 1970 to 1980, in 10 year, around 60 to 70 molecules was developed. 1980 to 1990, around 50 molecules were developed. And the 1990 to 2000, the 10 year, around 40 molecules was newer molecules was developed. The ratio of molecules is goes to decrease. Despite of this enormous expenditures, there has been a steady decline. See, look at this number: 100, 70, 50, 40. That is continuously decreases newer molecules into the market in the side 10 year. So that thing is called as an innovation deficit. Why innovation deficit is there? There are reason for innovation deficit: increasing drug safety demand by FDA. Here, whatever things that we are producing, whatever things that we are develop, that is directly used by the human and that is used to cure the human. So it been always been, and first point is to be considered toxicity and adverse effect. The drug has not been toxic and drug has not been any kinds, very less, fewer amounts of side effect, adverse effect. So average numbers of clinical trials per drug new application NDA increasing from 30 in 70s to 40 in 80s and to 70s in the 90s. As the drug safety demand is increasing, you may came across about the issue of ranitidine. Ranitidine was one of the very good drug for the antacid. That is a H2 receptor antagonist drug, and there is use as a that Loman maybe know about the Rentec Zentec. Some acidity is produced by somewhere by some food, so Loman itself taking the Rentec. But as you know, before 2 or 3 months it was completely banned for the shelling because of that found one impurity NMDA, and due to the process impurity the carcinogenic effect is to be produced. And same thing is there, drug safety is important, patient safety is important, and that is the major hurdles for the pharmaceutical industry to making the newer drugs. See, that is lead to prolonged duration of drug development process. In 60 era, the total development time was 8.1 year. In 70, that is 11.8 year. In 18, there is 14.2 year. In 19, there is 14.9 year. And currently, it may about around 15 to 16 year. that is continuously increasing, that is due to the safety and that is due to the consenting about the safety. The actual path of the drug discovery process start with the drug target identification, target validation, lead identification, lead optimization, preclinical clinical development, and then FDA review. Drug target identification means we are going to discuss about the each and every steps. Target identification, then the target validation, then lead identification of lead discovery, lead optimization, and then preclinical clinical development. Preclinical clinical development you may learn very well in the pharmacology, so we are not going to discuss in this. We are just going to first discussing about the first four stages, that is called as the various path of the a development of newer drug, or it also called as a discovery process. First thing, drug target identification. You learn various pharmacological drugs, how drug producing the pharmacological responses. So drug acting via any of the mechanism. So current therapy is based upon the 500 molecules target of about the 1000 possible targets. 45% of that drug which are acting on GPCR. 28% of drugs are acting on enzyme like HMG coenzyme A reductase inhibitor, ACEE enzyme reductase inhibitors. 11% drug are acting on hormones and factor. Various factors are there which are also binding and it affected to that. 5% drugs are ion channel, potassium ion channel, calcium ion channel. 2% drugs acting on a nuclear receptor. So that is the target where drug is acting. We have to identify this particular target. Suppose we are going to study about, suppose you are going to develop a newer drug for anti-TB, then you have to define the target. Whatever newer molecules I am supposed to try, these molecules are acting on which mechanism? They acting on binding this substance, acting on rupture this microorganism, acting on different mechanism on the microorganism, that you have to identify and define. That is called as a drug target identification. Once you identify the target, then target is to be validate. Validate means whatever target you define, is there any pharmacological mechanism is there? Is there any animal model is there which can evaluate the substance on that mechanism? So that is target validation. Means whatever target you have identified, that is validated by various way. But just for the understanding, we are taking that is accomplished preliminary with the knockout or knock in the animal model. Small molecules inhibitor, agonist, antagonist, or any other mechanism. So here in target validation, you need to identify the animal model, which animal model is required to uh, appropriate the study of this particular pharmacological activity. Suppose you are going to propose anti-TB, then you have a certain model which is used to define the anti-TB activity. This both thing, first to target identification and target validation, that can be done by the geometrics, bioinformatics, and various different pharmacological techniques. Then important thing is lead discovery. Lead discovery or lead identification. Lead means, lead is one of the word. Here for the drug design, lead is this complex word. Lead is defined as a some molecules are there which having a particular pharmacological action, irrespective to of the side effect or toxic effect. See, there are three words: heat, lead, and drug. Heat, lead, and drug. Heat means any kinds of any kinds of organic, inorganic molecules which can be used as a pharmacological action. Lead means certain types of the organic molecules or inorganic molecules which having a probability to producing a pharmacological action, but not side effect, not toxic effect. Drug is a particular substance which is having a good pharmacological action, very less side effect, and no toxic effect. So here in lead as compared to drug, lead we are considering about the only pharmacological action irrespective to the side effect and toxic effect. So heat molecules convert into lead molecules convert into drug. There are three stages: heat, lead, and drug. Lead discovery, how to identify such types of molecules which can having a particular pharmacological action. So some important drugs were discovered without a lead and then become as a lead compound for second generation of analogs. Serendipity is the effect by which one accidentally discovers something fortunate, especially while looking for something else entirely. You know very well, various drugs were developed by the serendipity. Serendipity is, see, accidents are always a bad, but serendipity is happy accident in the research. Mean nothing but you are going for something else and you will get something else. That is called as a serendipity. You know very well about the penicillin discovery. Alexander Fleming was discover penicillin. The discovery is a serendipity. There are various drugs were discovered by based on the concept of serendipity. Here we have one example of chlordiazepoxide is one of the drug from the class of the benzodiazepine, sedative and hypnotic drugs. Chlordiazepoxide was discovered by Dr. Leo Steinbach in 1954. Is Australian scientist, and the discovery was accidentally. How the discovery was happen? See, Dr. Leo Steinbach was discover various molecules like this, that is two nitrogen ring present in the 6-member connection with the benzene ring. See these molecules, they prepare around 60 or 70 molecules like this, where having a different substitution on this position, different substitution on this position, and they will send all these molecules for the pharmacological activity. None of the molecules was found as a potent. So he was close up this project and come back to other work. After 6 months, when he was started the newer project, that time he was found that there is one vial was available, was left to send as a left to send for the pharmacological study. So he was thinking that we have tried for the 60 molecules, why we are not going for this one molecule? So they also send these molecules for the pharmacological activity. Once the results was come, it was surprising result. The compound was found as a potent. Then Dr. Leo Bach think about that. What thing is going wrong? My 60 compound was not any kinds of pharmacological activity, but this one compound found as a potent. There is something going wrong. So he was discover again the molecules, or he was illustrate the structure of these molecules by using the IR, NMR and mass study, and he was found that the molecules is not this, molecules is this, molecules is this, as the molecules having a last step that react with the CH3 NH2 to form like this type of molecules was to be prepared, but actually in the vial 6 months the molecules was convert into the cyclization step, rearrangement step, and convert into 7-member ring, diazepine ring. So once they elucidate data was there, he was find that the molecules is not a 6-member ring, molecules having a 7-member ring and is a benzodiazepine. And then chlordiazepoxide was become as a sedative hypnotic drugs. Then after various drugs, alprazolam and various drugs are nowadays available for the sedative and hypnotics, and that is one of the best option for barbiturates. Barbiturates having a higher addiction rate, while the benzodiazepine having a lower addiction rate. That is serendipity. But actual method for the lead discovery or lead identification are 5 methods: random screening, non-random screening, drug metabolite study, clinical observation, and rational approach towards the drug design. First four, this four: random, non-random, drug metabolite study, clinical observation. This four is called the traditional approach towards the drug design. And fifth number, that is actually rational approach. Already we have seen the path, that is about the rational approach. So first four: random, non-random, drug metabolite, clinical. These four are a traditional approach. Just we are going to fast discuss about the all this step. Random screening. Random screening means randomly you have to select any molecules, any plant molecules or any synthetic chemicals and perform the animal study. You will get some better results, then it may click. So all compound, whatever you have, that can be tested in the bioassay. Nothing known about the receptor target, nothing known about the mechanism, nothing known about the pharmacology key. Just you have this particular, you are roaming around the garden, you will find some plant where having some leaf, some fruit. You may think that this fruit can be used as a anti-inflammatory activity and you are going to study for that. That is called as a random screening. Can you imagine that random screening also gives some effective results? See here example, Prontocell. Prontocell is one of the dye and it become as an antibacterial drug. Some scientists studied on that, studied on the dye and it become as a antibacterial substance. Second thing, second approach, that is random approach. So non-random approach. So here in this case, there is something is to be focused, target or focus screening. Narrow down approach means you have to think about whether this type of mechanism of this drug is there, so it may producing certain types of action. Some mechanism is there and you are going to screening of these molecules, that is called as a non-random screening. Means there is something rational is there that can be minimize the budget and minimize the manpower. Drug metabolite study. See, many of time it is possible that the pharmacological action is not due to the drug, but the metabolite is having, once they convert into the phase 1 metabolism, oxidation, reduction or any kinds of different types of the phase 1 metabolic product, the metabolic product producing the pharmacological action. So here in this case, you need to take care about the metabolite. You have to identify the metabolite, isolate them and screening. Here we have example Sulindac. Sulindac is which class of drug? Is a anti-inflammatory drug, but actually Sulindac molecules itself is not active. That convert into the reduction product of that S double bond is reductase to S methyl. That is useful for the pharmacological action. So this molecules is become as a lead molecules. This is not. This molecules become as a lead molecules. That is called as a drug metabolite study. Fourth one, clinical observation. See, as in the clinical trial, there are phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4 study. Clinical trials, observation is to be recorded. Sometimes a drug candidate during the clinical trial will exhibit more than one pharmacological activity. Means suppose you are targeting anti-tubercular drug, but patient may give the response like this. It increasing appetite, is decreasing my appetite, it producing some skin irritation, it producing in some other observation like this. So we are considering whatever different observations are there, that must be considered as a side effect. But sometimes the side effect is very good, it can be converted as a potent effect. So this compound can be used as a lead compound for the secondary activity, and this type of approach is called as a SOSA approach. SOSA means selective optimization of side activity. SOSA, SOSA. SOSA means selective optimization of side activity. Whatever side activity is there, that is to be optimized. Generally in clinical study, we are focusing on the main study, main pharmacological action. But here, as compared to main pharmacological action, side effect is important. So that's why the entire concept is to be changed to the SOSA approach, selective optimization of side activity. That is classical example of SOSA approach is sildenafil citrate. Sildenafil citrate is Viagra drug nowadays currently available in the market, and it was discovered by the clinical observation. What thing is there? Pfizer, the topmost multinational pharmaceutical company, Pfizer, in around the 1998 or 2000 era, the the entire company, four molecules of that company was in the pipeline, and all of them molecules are failed. Company is near about to reach to close, and very bad situation was there. That time, one of the molecules, sildenafil citrate, was into the clinical study. And phase 3 clinical trial, the drug is actually designed for treatment of angina and hypertension. So that is given to the mass numbers of people, mass numbers of subject, and the observation is to be recorded. Some of that, the substance means the patient give the observation that that is increasing the erectile function. When we are taking this drug, that affected to increasing the erectile function. Then that same observation has to be asked for all volunteer, all substances. So many of the person, many of the patient give the same opinion. Then the entire concept of angina and hypertension was shifted to erectile dysfunction, and sildenafil was become as a blockbuster drug. And then after Pfizer company was reached to the was remain in the top 5 MNC company till date. Several other molecules like dimenhydramine, methaqualone, disulfiram, haloperidol, etc. Discovered by this way. Disulfiram is used for what purpose? That is used for the alcohol addiction remover. So disulfiram was developed the drug, they given to the patient. Patient was says that after taking these drugs, we are not we don't having a we don't like to drinking the alcohol. So then after the concept was changed and drug was shipped to the alcohol addiction remover drug. So this first four are a traditional approach, rational approach. Rational approach means here first we have to identify the major route for the lead discovery. Target size and disease size is considerable. Mechanism based approach, identify the responsible enzyme and receptor. Prediction of the biological activity before their synthesis. That is the main step behind the rational approaches. Means you have to everything you have to done by the rationally. Suppose you are finding the calcium channel suppose you are going to study about the cancer drug, anti-cancer drug, then you have to identify the target, whether my drug acting on alkylating mechanism, drug acting on antibiotic mechanism, drug acting on hormones or anything. Once you define that, then you have to again define the mechanism, how my drug producing the mechanism, and based on that you have to identify the structures of the drug. So initially whatever substance you are getting from the lead is like this, that is having a pharmacological action, but we are not worried about the side effect and toxic effect. That is starting material. Now we have to convert the starting material to final compound, means lead to drug. So for drug, here we are also need to take care about the pharmacokinetic. Pharmacokinetic means ADME property. The drug must be adsorbed, drug must be distributed, drug must be metabolite, and drug must be extracted from the body. So various functional group is to be introduced, various parts is to be resolved. So everything is to be do, that is called as a lead optimization. Lead discovering, we can discover the lead by this 5 different method. Once we discover this lead, then lead is to be converted into the drug by the concept of lead optimization. Lead optimization is one of the complex process. There are some tools are there which is used to help into the rational approach of lead optimization. QSR, we are going to entire protocol of the QSR. We are going to study about the details about the QSR, molecular modeling, and combinatorial chemistry and HTS. So I'm not going to discuss anything about all this topic at here. Just we are going for the lead optimization. Lead optimization means whatever substance you got from the lead identification, the substance has to be converted into drug. So here entire feature has to be optimized. How is to be optimized? Optimization can be done by the 6 different steps: identification of active part, functional group optimization, SAR study, homologation, bioisosterism, and optical isomer. The lead optimization techniques are also called as a lead modification techniques. First thing, identification of active part pharmacophore. Pharmacophore, pharmacophore is one of the term you know about the chromophore. That is same terminology is pharmacophore. Pharmacophore is defined as a molecular framework that carries the essential feature which is responsible for drugs biological activity. Means in entire molecules some parts are there which are responsible to binding with the receptor. Entire drug is not binding to receptor. You may learn about the different drug receptor interaction. In that, the entire part of the molecules are not binding to the receptor. Some of the parts which are binding to the receptor, this much part, they producing pharmacodynamic action, that is called as a pharmacophore. A set of structural feature in a molecules that is recognized at a receptor site and is responsible for the molecule's biological activity. Without that part, the pharmacological activity is not observed. The pharmacophore is an essential part of molecules which governing the pharmacodynamic property. You know very well that pharmacodynamic means drug receptor interaction. Drug producing the pharmacological action in vitro. Suppose you are going to check on rat ileum, you are giving the acetylcholine, so acetylcholine binding with the site. So that binding affinity, that is called as a pharmacodynamic property. So pharmacodynamic property is important and that is defined as per the pharmacophore. So how it to be identified? See, entire drug having a biggest part. You may identify the drug from the natural product. In natural product there is a bigger structure. So the entire structure is responsible. You know the structure of vincristine, vinblastine. There is bigger structure. You know the structure of Raulfia, reserpine. There are the bigger structure. The entire structure is not responsible for pharmacodynamic. So we need to identify the pharmacodynamic part. So non-essential part mainly influence on the pharmacokinetic feature, that is help to increasing the lipophilicity, that is help to increasing the metabolism, that is help to increasing the extraction, or that is help to increasing the distribution. Pharmacophore identification via functional group modification are various steps. First, systematically alter or remove the portion of molecules. Means entire molecules, first you perform the animal study and find the biological activity. Then remove one part of molecules, again perform the animal study, remove another part of the molecules, perform the animal study. If you not observe the animal study or your animal study is going, your animal activity is going to decreases, then it means this part is responsible for pharmacodynamically. So identify the region which are essential for activity. The next slide I am going to discuss about one example. It will more clear about this, how it to do. So here the example is opioid as an example of functional group modification to identify a pharmacophore. This is the morphine structure. You know very well about the morphine, that is opioid analgesic. This is obtained from the Papaver somniferum. The opioid is 5 different rings are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 different fuse rings are there. So this entire fuse rings are responsible to binding with the receptor? No. So how is to be find which ring is responsible to binding with the receptor? So first there is a morphine, codeine, and heroin. These 3 drugs having a somehow related analgesic activity. Then we are going to remove one ring. Here we are going to remove this oxygen breeze ring. This ring. So once we are remove this ring, again next structure is there. There is levorophenone. Levorophenone is 3-4 times more potent as an analgesic than morphine. Is maintain the same additive property. So here whatever tetrahydrofuran ring is there, that is not responsible for essential for activity. We can remove. Barabar? So there is first step, removal of tetrahedral ring and hydroxyl group at R dash. We remove the both thing. Drug is levorophenone. Levorophenone is active drug. So it means this whatever part we are going to remove, that is not responsible for pharmacodynamically. Next is removal of half of the cyclohexene ring. Here you find there is cyclohexene ring. Here there is double bond, then hexene, cyclohexene ring. So we are going to open this ring. This. The substance are benzofuran, cyclajosine, pentajosine. Benzofuran is a partial separation of analgesic and addictive property. Cyclajosine and pentajosine much lower addictive property. That is somehow less addictive property. It means we remove the group and addiction is going to remove. So addiction is depend on that part. Therefore cyclohexene is contributed to addictive property. And cyclohexene is not contributed to the analgesic activity because analgesic activity is already there. Next, again we are going to remove the new group, this substance. Here this we are going to reducing the ring of this. Then there is a removal of all fuse ring. The substance is demerol. Demerol is a 10 to 12% more potent than the morphine. Therefore, the final ring, fuse ring, is not essential for the analgesic activity. Again, we are going to remove the nitrogen containing pyrimidine ring, piperidine ring. We are going to open this ring. That is open. Darvon and methadone. Methadone is also potent analgesic as a morphine. Potent analgesic as a morphine, but still addictive. So some addictive properties not only depend on cyclohexene, that also depend on some other part. But that molecule is active. So that means this cyclohexene ring, the pyrimidine substance, pyrimidine ring is not responsible for analgesic activity. So entirely we remove all these things. This much part is responsible. Whatever parts is written as a dark. This aromatic ring, nitrogen connection with the 2 to 3 carbon and tertiary nitrogen. That much part is a called as a pharmacophore for opioid analgesic. Means systematically you have to alter and remove the functional group and check the pharmacological activity. You will get the least part which are responsible to binding with the receptor, and that is called as a pharmacophore. Once you identify the pharmacophore, the next part is need to add some group which are help to pharmacokinetic property, because without pharmacokinetic only pharmacodynamic property is not responsible. Only pharmacokinetic property, only pharmacodynamic property is not give the appropriate action, because drug has to reach to body site, has to reach to target, has to producing the pharmacological action, has to metabolite, and has to live from the body. Entire path is to be fulfilled. That is done by the adding of group. Second thing, functional group optimization. Various groups are there. Here selection of proper functional group to alter the lipophilicity, electronic and steric feature of drug that can be govern the distribution pattern and avoid the occurrence of the side effects. So we need to systematically, logically alter and change the functional group. Here we need to take care about this like this. Here there is a chlorothiazide and dihydroxide. Both substances having a similarity. Here benzothiazide, benzothiazide. Both rings are there. Same rings are there. Only difference sulfonamide group. Here chlorine group, and there is no here any group. Chlorothiazide is which class of drug? Chlorothiazide is a diuretic drugs. Dioxoxides is a vasodilator drugs. both drugs having a different mechanism. So once you are going to change certain a group, again you need to take care about the pharmacological action. That is sulfonylurea, phenyl sulfonylurea. If R is equal to NH2, the substance is a carbutamide. Carbutamide is antibacterial agents. R is equal to methyl is a tolbutamide. Methyl is present on the phenyl ring, that is called the toluene. Toluene. Tolbutamide. Tolbutamide is anti-diabetic drug. Just you are going to one group change, the entire pharmacological action is going to change. So whatever group is to be modified, that must be appropriate. Otherwise, entire pharmacological action is going to change. You need to take care about this thing. Second homologation, third homologation, you may learn the various drugs, structures of the drugs where CH2, CH2, CH3 chains are there, CH2, CH2 side chains are there. So how is to be optimized? First, you have to add one methyl group, then two methyl group, then three, then four, and then 5, 6, and so on. And need to check the pharmacological activity of this. You will get the graph like this, where certain groups here for this graph 6 numbers of CH2 are optimized. That is a homologation. Homologation series can be developed like this. SAR study. You learn various SAR study till date. SAR study is generalized conclusion, means electron withdrawing groups producing such type of effect, electron donating group producing such type of effect, to changing the parts of the molecules, one to here will change the pharmacological action like this. So the generalized statement is, see, you are going to develop a drug for the anti-TB. So whatever SAR study for anti-TB is available till date, that just you have to look just to which types of there. So based on that, you will get the idea for the newer drugs. Bioisosterism, the concept that we already learned in the physicochemical property. Bioisosters means there are the substituents or group that having a chemical or physical similarity and which produce broadly similar biological activity. Bioisosterism means there are the group, once you change this group to another group, that may reduce the toxicity, that may reduce the duration of action, increase the duration of action, that may increase in the selectivity to particular tissue, that may modify the activity of lead, and that may also useful for the metabolism of these lead molecules. Because sometimes it is possible that you have to produce a molecules which is having a sufficient longer duration action. Suppose the molecules is there which is easily hydrolyzed. Supposing your molecules ester groups are there. So ester groups are easily hydrolyzed into the body. So within 2 hours the action of drug is going to disappear. You can't suggest to patient to take drug by every 2 hours. So it is feasible that patient can take drug after 8 hours or 12 hours. So you have to increasing the duration of action. So for that you need to change certain a group. But once you change the group, you need to take care this group must be bioisoster. Bioisoster means that's having a same chemical or physical similarity and having a produce similar biological property. Isoster you learn very well. Just I am giving the example of this univalent atom. Methyl NH2OH, this is univalent atom. ClSH, size is same, univalent atom. Bromine and isopropyl, size is same, univalent atom. Iodine and tertiary butyl, size is same, univalent atom. Same bivalent atom, trivalent atom, tetravalent atom, and ring equivalent. Sometime in ring there are CH, double bond CH can be replaced with the sulfur. Means benzene ring can be replaced with the thiophene. CH double bond can be replaced with the nitrogen, means benzene replaced with the pyridine. As requirement is there, we can replace. Some other oxygen, sulfur, CH2, NH2, tetrahydrofuran can be replaced with the tetrahydrothiophene, can be replaced with the cyclopentane, can be replaced with the pyrrolidine. whatever requirements is there, that is to be replaced. Here there is example, phenothiazine and tricyclic. Sulfur is replaced with this CH2, CH2. Another drug, dopamine antagonist via bioester. Here, sultopride drug, amide functional group is there, which is easily going to metabolize into the body. So, to overcome this problem, that was one oxygen is replaced with the CH2, CH2, and it make a one ring at this point. That is a pyrrole ring. Pyrrole ring is not easily going to hydrolyze, and molecules become as a potent molecules. That is a bioisoster replacement. Optical isomer and biological activity. See, chiral blockbuster. See, most of the drugs, blockbuster means those drugs which are having a higher business. Blockbuster drugs, most of them, 9 of 10 drugs having a chirality. Some of single enantiomer, some is achiral, some is a racemate, some is a single enantiomer, atorvastatin, olanzapine, amlodipine, epoetin, lansoprazole, esomeprazole. This all blockbusting drugs having a chiral center. As you know that the chirality is important. Both form is given to the patient. One form may be inactive, one form may be active, another form may be inactive, another form may be active, but one form producing side effect, it is having a problem. So it is need to be given as a pure molecules to the patient. See, as you very well aware about the thalidomide tragedy, R and S enantiomer both are given in a mixture in racemic form, because to separate them is having a time consuming and also very much cost increasing step. R enantiomer is effective against the morning sickness in the pregnant woman, while S enantiomer producing teratogenic and birth effect. So that was the thalidomide tragedy. So we need to take care about the also enantiomeric form of the molecules. Steps in the drug design with the example. Here we have example of the H2 receptor drug. H2 receptor drug ranitidine. First, validation of biological target. H2 receptor drug target is histamine. Histamine is responsible for generation of the hydrochloric acid into the gastric parietal cell. So to block them, lead compound was found is N-guanyl histidine. N-guanyl histidine various analogs were developed, and some of them may having a potent substance. Then optimization was done to increasing the pharmacological activity and decreasing the side effects. So first, burimamide was developed. Burimamide having some certain side effect, then thioburimamide was developed. That is the example of the bioisoster replacement of CH2 to sulfur. Then thioburimamide, thio substance was found as a some toxic. Then meteamide was developed, which is more potent and orally active substance, but thiourea found as a toxic in the clinical trial. So to replacement of them, the sulfur is to be replaced with the some NCN group, that is cimetidine. Cimetidine was developed, and that is replacement of the group lead to be effective and well tolerated product. And after again to increase the effectiveness of cimetidine, ranitidine was developed, that is eventually replaced by the Gentac with the improved safety profile. But nowadays the ranitidine process impurity NMDA was create a problem, was found as a carcinogenic, and that drug was also reached to the also withdraw from the market. So there is need certain development required for the ranitidine also.